friends, welcome back to our channel. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Haley.
And we're the Sister Effect. Today, I told Haley to show up today to film in casual attire. And she knew that the theme was wedding talk, and this is...
Have you never seen the episode of Friends? Where they're chilling on their couch in the wedding dress? This is how I hang out at home. This is a casual Tuesday for me.
So today's topic is 20 wedding tips, or tricks you should say, that you don't want to forget. Haley and I have been shooting weddings now for 7 years. Well, she's been shooting weddings with me for 6 years. I've been shooting weddings for 7 years. And we've pretty much seen it all. And so this is a list of things that we've
the tips
accumulated over the last couple years. And mind you, these are just our opinions. This is just things that we've decided that
we've decided. We're not official by any means.
No, we just shoot weddings every weekend and we see a lot of crap. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. But I'm just saying this is stuff that we've realized after the fact.
Probably could have gone a lot smoother.
Yeah, there we go. That's the best way to put it.
Had someone had this insight beforehand.
Yeah. Right. So, we're going to share these tips with you.
And we're going to make this fast because we filmed this once already. And it was like 37 minutes long. So we're going to
try to keep this, a little bit quicker for you because nobody, you want the tips, but you
don't want us for that long.
Just saying.
Okay.
Number one.
Tip number one is do not put your hands on your hips for any picture on your wedding day.
Guys, this is one that I'm going to rant about for just a second because it's not prom, it's not spring fling, it's not spring formal. You're not like...
It's not a selfie.
I get that you want to have that shape, but at the same time, here's what you do. You put all your weight on your back leg and you pop your front knee. It's going to give you the S shape, and it's not going to make you look like you're trying to be a prom queen.
Right.
Nothing against prom queens. I'm just saying, this is your wedding day. So this is a tip for you as a bride and as for your whole bridal party. I know the girls in the end are always like, what do I do with my arm? Usually chances are if you're not holding your bouquet, you're just going to have it straight onto your side. And if you don't know, ask your photographer because your photographer is going to tell you exactly what to do. And if they tell you to put your hand on your hip, then do it, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Tip number two is hold your flowers at or below your belly button. My favorite thing to say is pubes, not boobs.
It's the truth.
You don't want your flowers covering your face.
No. I can't tell you how many times I'm going through pictures of the bride coming down the aisle and you can barely see her face because, and I understand that she has her arm like through her dad's or through whoever's walking down the aisle, but at the same time, hold the bouquet with the other hand. Hold it down low because you want to see your face. People, like, your groom wants to see your face.
Right.
And you're going to want those pictures and you're not going to want it hidden behind your bouquet. And same goes for the bridesmaids. Like, chances are there's pretty decals or there's some pretty part of your dress up here, your necklace or whatever that's meant to be seen.
Your smile.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I'm saying, like, holding it up here, hold it down as low as you can. So Haley says this every single wedding, and we always get funny looks, but it's so true. It's just the easiest way to remember. Pubes, not boobs.
Yep. Tip number 3 is kiss your groom slowly.
Yes. I can only shoot so fast, and I tell this to all of my brides. Especially when you're having pictures done. You can't just peck because we can only snap so fast. Right. So this is your one day to be able to smooch as much as you want. And
you would hate to not have a picture of your first kiss because you only kissed him for a millisecond and the photographer could not get a picture.
That's so true. It's so stressful for us to make sure we get that moment because it's so important. And if you just peck for a second, like...
We miss it.
It happens. I don't think I've missed a kiss yet, but it's been close.
Right.
Let me just say it's been close.
Okay, tip number 4 is during the ceremony, hold your groom's hands. Or your bride's if you're the groom and you're watching this.
There is nothing more awkward than watching an entire wedding ceremony and the bride and the groom are standing this far away from each other. Like, not even, like...
You're supposed to act like you like each other, you know?
I know it depends on the officiant. I know it depends on who's officiating the wedding and what they say. But chances are you standing a little bit closer and just holding hands like this out front is not going to hurt anything.
Right.
And it's going to make for better pictures, which is always good. But it's also like having those hands to hold during that part is like
comforting.
Yeah, it's like it's that grounding feeling that you need to remember, like, hey, we're doing this together. Like, don't freak out.
Right.
So that's one big thing. Like, stand as close as you possibly can without being overly close.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Tip number 5 was my favorite one from my wedding day. Maybe. Lotion your hands before you walk down the aisle. It makes the ring slide on your hand so much easier.
There's nothing worse than watching a bride and groom struggle to get the rings on. Especially like when it's hot outside and people's hands swell, and like there's always that awkward giggle where the groom's trying to shove his ring on and everybody's laughing hoping that it fits. So just, I mean, it's a great tip for both the groom and the bride.
Yes.
Because it makes things so much easier.
Right. All right. Tip number 6 is have lipstick on hand to give to your groom for the pictures.
Yes.
Not for him to wear, obviously, but for you to wear, because with all of the kissing and all of the smiling and talking, your lipstick's going to wear off, and lipstick brings life to your face in pictures.
It really does. If that's the one thing, like, people ask, how's my face look? Face looks great, but touch your lipstick.
Right.
Because it's just that extra pop and that extra depth that your face needs, and it makes you look completely put together. Like,
right.
I mean, obviously, at some point late in the night when you're getting pictures, like we're taking pictures of you dancing and stuff, that's going to be worn off, but that's, you know, the end of the day. But for the pictures that you're going to have to hang on the wall and you're going to want to look back on, you want to look your absolute best.
Right.
So, look like you did when you first got your makeup done, and make sure you have that lipstick in his pocket, so that way when you need it during pictures, during any part of the day, it's right there. Because chances are he's not going to go far.
Right. All right. Tip number 7 is break in your wedding shoes. Seriously. Because it's a long day, and sometimes you don't have backup shoes that you can wear. So when us photographers are making you walk all over God's green earth,
and we do it with the best intentions.
Right, to get some pretty pictures, some of our brides get pretty freaking miserable because they have the most uncomfortable shoes on, or they didn't break them in.
Right. And it's not always a situation like you can just take them off and run around without shoes on, because, I mean, we're in Michigan, and 6 months out of the year is pure misery, and that's not possible.
Right.
So, especially if you're wearing heels, make sure to break those bad boys in as best as you can, because you're going to regret it if you don't. And you want to have them, too, to wear when you're doing your first dance and stuff, and for almost all of your pictures, because when you have heels on, it just fixes your posture, makes you stand up more straight, and if there's a height difference.
And chances are your dress has been
altered
to you with heels on.
Correct.
So if you're doing your first dance and you don't have shoes on or whatever, it kind of takes away the effect.
Right.
In a way.
Right.
Okay. Number 8 is don't put your garter on until the reception.
Story time. So we shot a wedding, I don't even know how long ago it was now, probably 5 or 6 years ago, and the bride insisted on putting the garter on before the ceremony, and we had no reason to tell her not to, so we're like, okay, whatever. So she puts it on, she's walking down the aisle, her garter slips off. Her dress was like a mermaid style, so it was like tight on her legs, so it pushed it down as she was walking down the aisle, and her dad had to pick up her garter while she was walking down the aisle. Like, he bent down to pick it up and held the garter through the entire ceremony. Like, this is my awkward turtle. It was so awkward. And you don't want to put your dad through that. You don't want to put anyone through that, really. I mean,
the groom pulled that off later that night with his teeth. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, it's not needed for the ceremony. If you want it in some of the pictures or whatever, put it on after the ceremony. Right. But just wait. It's more comfortable. You won't have to tug at it. You won't have to think about it. Just wait.
You have enough stuff to worry about, let alone trying to keep your garter in place.
And worst case, if the garter gets lost, like it did for a couple we had earlier this year, or end of last year, you just make one out of the pocket squares. Because I had to do that for a bride, because she insisted on doing the bouquet toss and the garter toss, and so we made one. So you improvise. You just make it work.
Yep. All right. 9 and 10 go together, and they have to do with strapless dresses. Number 1, number 9, don't wear a strapless dress if you think you're going to be yanking on it all night. Because, one, it's something for you to worry about. I mean, you're going to be dancing and you look down and your girls are hanging out because your dress was too loose. And then tip number 10, that goes along with it, is if you're busty and gifted in this area, like me, maybe think about not wearing a strapless dress. Because the girls aren't going to hold the dress up very well. And then it's just, it's a lot to look at.
And as the day goes on, your dress is going to stretch. I mean, if it's a corset dress where you can tighten it up, great. But just remember that it's, like, what it's going to look like when you're trying to tug on it all day long, or when you're standing up in front of all of your guests for your ceremony and you're staring deeply into your groom's eyes and you're yanking on your dress. Like, that's, even when you think it's tight enough, even the people that say it fits like a glove, we still catch them doing that. So it's just a tip. Like, if you're obsessed with that style dress, by all means, go for it.
Yeah.
But we're just saying, like, from an outsider looking in and seeing I've shot over 150 weddings now at this point. Like, it's just something that we notice, and we might catch on to it because we see it so often, but it's just something to keep in mind. Okay, fun fact, when we filmed this last week and it was 37 minutes long, I was wearing my wedding dress, and we may or may not have over-tightened it.
She told me to keep tightening it.
Because I didn't want it to, like, fall, but we were sitting, and they were...
Nocole's not even that gifted, and she looked like she was a freaking...
porn star. Sorry, I have to say it. They were just pummeling out the top of the dress. That's why we're part of the reason why we're filming.
Right.
So anyways, just keep that in mind, because there's a lot of things that go into a strapless dress, and you don't want to be tugging on it. You don't want to be pulling on it.
And regardless, it's just something to be conscious of on your wedding day.
Right. One less thing to have to worry about.
Right. All right, we have a 10.5.
I forgot about this one.
If your ceremony is outside, or if it's, you know, the weather is iffy, don't wear your hair down.
Or at least not all the way down.
Right.
There's a couple reasons for this. One, outdoor receptions or outdoor ceremonies, in the wind, your hair is going to fly everywhere. Even for pictures, at least wear it half up, half down, so it's out of your face. Because there's nothing worse than trying to fight, when you're trying to get pictures done, fight the pieces of hair just flying in your face constantly.
Right.
Because chances are, it's, you know...
One, you're going to get frustrated with it because all of your pictures, you're going to have to keep stopping and tucking your hair behind your ear, and that's not really how you want it. You want it laying flat against your face. And two, it's a pain in the ass for the photographer to, you know, figure out a way to position you so that your hair is not whipping across your face, getting stuck in your lipstick.
Here's the other thing. Now, take note. When I turn this way, and I'm putting my forehead to Haley's like I would if I was going to be my groom, do you see any part of my face? Probably not. So, you're going to be up close with him, and you're going to have up close pictures, and if your face is, like, your hair is veiling your face the entire time, it's really going to take away from those pictures that you want. So it's just something to keep in mind. At least go half up, half down, so it's out of your face. So you can at least see you know?
Right.
So, and not only that, but especially in Michigan, the weather,
the humidity,
you don't want to look, you don't want all your curls to fall by the end of the day.
Right.
Or it to end up frizzy, or it to just be too hot. So just something to keep in mind. I know some people grow their hair out specifically just to have it half up or half down, or have it down for their wedding, and that's wonderful, but I'm just saying, keep in mind that we want to see your pretty face.
Right.
That's all.
Okay, the actual tip number 11. Guard your marriage license with your life.
Story time. We shot a wedding last year up in Traverse City, and it was the most beautiful location. They were perfect. It was windy as hell. I mean, we're talking, like, dresses flying sideways. We're talking, like...
my dress flying over my head.
We saw Haley Spanx all day. Like, it was intense. And they finished the ceremony. We were finishing up getting ready to go do pictures, and they were going to sign the marriage license. And I'm talking to Haley, like, getting a water or something, and all of a sudden I look out and I see somebody dive into the water, because we were right on the peninsula in Traverse City. And then the officiant comes up and he's like, we're standing there with the bride and the groom, and he's like, yeah, so I lost, or the marriage license flew into the lake. And she's like, haha, good one, good one. And he's like, no, I'm serious. And so it was like instant panic, because they leave for their honeymoon on Monday, and to do their, like, bridal massages and to get their upgraded room and all the stuff, they needed their marriage license for that, and they currently didn't even have a marriage license to sign. So luckily the DJ, who was from up in the area, saved the day because he knew the county clerk, and long story short, they got their marriage license. But that, I mean, it's just something to keep in mind. Like, guard that bad boy with your life. Most times after the ceremony, and after it's signed, most bride and grooms give it to one of their parents or to somebody in the bridal party that's very responsible, because you don't want that to be lost. You really need that. So.
Okay, are you done?
Hey.
Okay, number 12 is no onions or garlic, we'll say within 12 hours before your wedding, because you're talking to a lot of people. It's really for your groom and your benefit.
Right.
You're kissing your groom a lot.
Yep.
You're hugging a lot of people. It's just something for you to be self-conscious about, like, oh, shit, do I have bad breath? Like,
yeah. There's a lot of people hugging you in your face all day long. So
Right.
that's just... And gum, especially when getting pictures, is not really an option to chew all day. I know we're getting there. Go ahead.
the next tip. Number 13 is, Nicole says eat a mint. I say chew gum and spit it out before the ceremony.
Right.
Just because, again, fresh breath when you give your groom your first official kiss as husband and wife. 2, if you're nervous, it kind of puts some saliva in your mouth, you know?
Right.
Makes you not...
Nobody's a fan of cottonmouth.
Yeah.
No.
So, but if you're going to chew gum, make sure you spit it out or you're going to have to swallow it walking down the aisle. And if you were like me, I would... The pure panic. I can't do that. So...
Yeah.
Tip number 14. This is something that we've just noticed works better. Release aisles at the ceremony rather than a receiving line. It makes the process go by a lot faster because you can basically give the guests a hug and they walk on their merry way knowing that more people have to get out of their, out of their seats still.
Right. It just makes things flow easier, and you're saving yourself time when it comes to the reception.
Right.
Everybody stresses out about going to talk to every single person there because obviously you want to celebrate with them and obviously you're happy they're there. But that's a lot of work. Like, you want to be able to enjoy yourself and dance and have fun and drink and whatever else. And that's a lot of pressure. So this way, you're at least greeting all of those guests that were at the ceremony and getting that out of the way. And you're not having them all piled up waiting outside for you. If you're waiting to do a bubble send-off or whatever after the ceremony, have just your immediate family that's going to have to stay for pictures anyways do it. Because there's no way you're going to fit all of those people in anyways. And chances are when they're all lined up outside, they're just going to be talking and not paying attention as it is. So, just something to keep in mind.
Number 15 is no aisle runners. We have, in all of the weddings that we've shot, with all of the ones that have done an aisle runner, I think we've seen maybe 2 tops work flawlessly.
Yeah. It's just an overall awkward thing. Like, having to stop before the bride comes down the aisle so somebody can run halfway hunched over to pull this thing all the way up. And then to follow that up with it not staying in place, and I can't tell you how many times I've tripped over it. I've seen the bride trip over it. I've seen the groom trip over it. It's just, it doesn't, unless it's stapled to the floor, which chances are it's not going to happen.
Right.
They just don't work well.
And really, they don't add all that much to a wedding anyways. You don't really see them in the pictures.
Right.
Because you're more focused on you. It's not like you're going to have
Right.
an aisle runner. Most of the time, the bride's dress is going to pull it or like slide it to the side and it's just going to be wrinkled anyways, looking silly.
Right.
You might as well spend your money on something else.
Flowers to line the aisle with.
Yeah.
Something else. Just our, like I said, this is completely our personal opinion. If you have your heart set on an aisle runner, you do you, girl, because more power to you.
Right.
We're just saying that it's just something we've seen that,
Just something to consider.
Yeah,
Again.
for sure.
Number 16 is, this isn't really a tip. Maybe. First looks are the best thing of life.
Okay. Well, here you go.
Here she goes.
Here we go. Okay. I always ask when I sit down to help a bride and groom plan out their timeline for the day, if they've thought about it. And chances are they either know about it or they have no clue. And they might hesitate, and I always say, can I give you my spiel? And I'm sure if I have any brides watching this, they've heard me say this. Because here goes nothing. So, if there's one thing that I could do differently for my wedding 8 years ago, which, mind you, I did the traditional Catholic wedding, we didn't see each other, things have changed a lot since I got married. And if there's one thing that I could do differently, it would be that. It would be, I wish that we had that time before the ceremony to see each other. For a number of reasons. One, it felt like it wasn't until our first dance that I finally got a chance to actually see him. And, we started dancing, and I was like, hi. I haven't had a chance to talk to you. I mean, I've been standing next to you and kissing you nonstop for the last couple hours, but, we haven't got a chance to even...
have a genuine moment.
have a moment together, just the two of us. And not only that, but I think my nerves would have been calmed a whole lot more before the ceremony. And that's one thing that I hear from everybody is that they agree. It calms your nerves for the day. And it's just that, 10 or 15 minutes, just for you two to have together. To remember what the entire day is about.
Right.
To take your groom in his tux, for him to take you in your dress. And it's the most genuine moment of the whole day. And as a photographer, like it makes for the best pictures. But it's also, I can't tell you how many times that we've shot this moment, like it's just us and the bride and groom, and we end up like sobbing like babies. Like it's just I get chills just thinking about it. It's the best moment, and I don't think I've ever had anybody regret doing one. So it's just something to keep in mind, timing wise, especially if you're planning a late fall or winter wedding where you're fighting the light, especially here in Michigan. It's, you know, going to make life a whole lot easier. Or if you're planning a ceremony and reception that are close together where you don't have the time in between. That way you can do your reveal, and then you guys can get all of your pictures out of the way beforehand. Right. So then after your ceremony, it's just family pictures, and then you can actually enjoy things before the ceremony starts, or the reception starts. So it's just something to keep in mind. I mean, the pictures of, like, you standing wall to wall and holding hands are great, but imagine that moment of, like, having your groom see you for the first time.
Right.
It's the best thing. And keep in mind, too, I know I'm rambling, but keep in mind, too, that, you know, you want a genuine reaction from him, and chances are if he's got 100 and some people watching him, he's going to be a little more reserved than he would be if it's just the two of you. Right. So if you want that genuine reaction for when he sees you for the first time, that's just something to keep in mind.
All right.
Okay, spiel over.
I think I said this last one was 17. That was really 16.
Oh.
So now we're on to 17 and 18. They're pretty self-explanatory. First part, do not drink too much alcohol before the first dance.
Correct.
And then 18, is don't drink too much on the day of your wedding, period. Of course, drink, have fun.
Right.
But we've literally had a bride so drunk that they could barely stand during their first dance. It's just...
I think they fell over a time or three. And that happened more than once. But the point of this being, if that's what you want to do, more power to you. But keep in mind, all these people are here to celebrate you. Right. All these people are here to celebrate with you. And if you're so intoxicated that you can't carry on a conversation, what are they going to remember from the day, you know? So, obviously have fun. Obviously, as the night goes on, get wasted. Do, you know, shots all day long, whatever you want to do. But up until that point, until like the formalities are over of the first dance and, you know, you're
cutting the cake
and all of that, you want to be there. You want to be present. And you don't want to risk forgetting any part of your day because you're spending thousands of dollars on this day, and it's one of the most important days of your life. You want to remember every single piece of it that you can.
Right.
So,
okay. Number 19. Do not schedule yourself to do anything important on the wedding day or within like 24 hours before. Delegate it to someone or just forget about it at that point.
Right.
Depending on what it is, but you're going to have enough to worry about between hair and makeup and, you know, all of the other little things that are going to come up on your wedding day.
And we learned this lesson on her wedding day alone. We thought we had all the time in the world. I mean, look, we do this every weekend. We look at these timelines, and we set these timelines up constantly. And she's like, you know what, we'll get up at 8, we'll go decorate the place for her dinner, and then we'll come back and get hair and makeup done.
We didn't even decorate. We didn't even have to decorate the place for dinner. My mom did that, but it was still, we ran a little behind on hair and makeup, which was fine. Like, that's, you know.
That's expected. And, and that's, but you don't want to have to add any extra stress in that morning. Make the day of your wedding be just about hair and makeup, getting ready, and getting married. Right. Don't add anything else to yourself. Don't add any extra errands. Give that to anybody else. You have a huge family coming. You have tons of friends, whatever. Give it to anybody else to handle, and don't put that on yourself.
Okay. The last tip is make sure you eat your dinner at your reception on time. Don't make your guests wait any longer, especially if you're having like an actual, you know, Catholic ceremony where the ceremony starts at 1 o'clock and dinner doesn't start until 6 o'clock. Yeah. Your guests have waited forever.
Okay, and also, on this topic, chances are we're the ones to get blamed. Because 9 times out of 10, the reason that there's a delay is because they're out getting pictures.
Right. We've had it not happen like that.
Yeah, we've been back and we're waiting on the bridal party because they went to the bar or whatever. But just remember that these people are here to celebrate you. Right. Yes, you're paying for this all. We understand that. But these people have given up their Saturday to come celebrate with you.
They're bringing you gifts.
Right.
They are,
it's a respect thing. Right. Like, just keep that in mind. There's nothing more infuriating for me being a wedding guest than, you know, going to the ceremony, probably missing lunch because of what time the ceremony was, then going to cocktail hour, maybe having a few, like, appetizers or hors d'oeuvres, but still being starving, and then waiting for another hour because the bridal party was supposed to show up at 6:30, and they didn't show up until 7, but then they still have to do the toast and everything else,
Right.
and that takes another half an hour.
Right.
So just keep in mind, though it says dinner at 6:30, chances are that's not what time dinner's going to be. And you want to be as close to that as you can be for your guests' sake. Just, people get hangry, and you don't want that to be what people remember from your
Right.
day. So,
Okay, guys, we could
So-
probably go on.
we could. We've done this before, and we've gone on way longer than this.
Well,
I'm pretty proud
and
of
with
this.
more tips,
For
I'm
sure.
sure we have
And I'm sure we'll
tons
be back.
more. And I'm sure that there are a bunch that we don't know about.
So if you have tips, leave us a
Leave-
comment
yeah.
or send us a message and tell us, because we would love to
Right.
know, because there's things that we just don't even realize
Right.
sometimes. So please like our subscribe. Please go follow us on Instagram. Follow us on our Facebook page, which we're just now getting up and running.
Right.
Um,
Subscribe to our
subscribe
blog,
to our blog.
which is www.thesistereffect.com.
And follow both of us on Instagram, which we'll put our handles on here as well.
Yes.
And thanks for hanging out with us.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.